Coming up on Mountain News at 6, a Clay County woman is indicted on a murder charge after her daughter dies from injuries sustained in an abuse situation. And with more than 80 pedestrians having been hit and killed by cars so far in Kentucky, we'll take a look at what's being done to improve safety.
And we're seeing some much-needed rain chances getting ready to push through eastern Kentucky. Details in a few minutes.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
A Clay County woman has been indicted for murder in the death of her 3-year-old daughter. A grand jury returned an indictment on one count of murder against Brianna Burkhart. Through their investigation, state police identified Burkhart as a suspect in the child abuse case. The child died at UK Children's Hospital following injuries she sustained. Burkhart was previously indicted on 3 counts of assault back in June. One person is dead after a crash in Menifee County. That crash happened on US 460 near the Wellington community this afternoon. Dispatch told our sister station that a dump truck crashed, and that's about all we know at this point. A woman has been sentenced to 2 years in prison for conspiracy to distribute oxycodone and methadone. According to her plea agreement, Judith Harksey worked as a receptionist at a pain clinic in Chicago. The time frame of the conspiracy was between 2019 and 2022. During that time, many people from Perry County traveled to the clinic regularly and paid a cash copay to Harksey. Then Harksey filled out prescriptions that were previously signed by the absent owner. A Whitley County man was sentenced to more than 5 years in prison. William Nance pleaded guilty to threatening a federal law enforcement agent. Nance threatened the agent during a recorded video jail call. It is the second sentencing that Nance has received. He had received a prior sentence of 70 months when he made a threat against the lead case agent who was investigating a case against his son. A number of fires in an eastern Kentucky county have people concerned, especially since one fire at a vacant house caught another home on fire with a woman sleeping inside. She got out okay, but her home is heavily damaged, and now investigators have a lot of questions. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on what's behind these fires.
Early Sunday morning was a busy one for Estill County firefighters.
We're on scene approximately 35 to 40 minutes. We received another call that was on fire, possibly 2, and the address was about a half mile down from the road where we was at.
That call came as the crews were battling a vacant mobile home fire. And when they went to the second empty home, they discovered it had set a third home on fire with a woman inside.
The lady that was lived there, she got woken up by a dog barking, which saved her life and got her out.
Then on Tuesday, firefighters were called back to that same area for another vacant home that was burning. Arson is possible in all of them.
It's leaning that way. There's no other reason that, there should be an ignition source or anything in a vacant home, with no electric, no power, no nothing.
People who live in this area of Winston Road 521353 are asked to look at their surveillance video, especially late Saturday night or maybe early Sunday morning. They say any clue could be huge in helping them get to the bottom of what happened here. Firefighters are tired and people who live in the area are on edge.
Local law enforcement, they're doing extra patrols, and I know in that area and stuff, and anytime you hear something, it makes you nervous of what's going to happen, next.
They hope the next thing is the discovery of who's responsible and for the fires to stop. In Estill County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
None of the firefighters were hurt.
Well, we started the day off with plenty of sunshine. Temperatures again were in the mid to upper 60s. Some places made it into the low 70s, but now we're clouding up and now the rain chances are pushing in. Here's the latest. With live pinpoint Doppler radar, you can see over towards portions of Wayne County, Kentucky, seeing some rain at this hour, and the rain chances will continue as we go into the next several hours. They really pick up, though, throughout the morning hours of your Thursday. Numbers for today played out like this. Made it to 70 in Hazard, 68 was the high in Jackson. Manchester made it to 67, 66 was the high in Williamsburg. Pikeville made it to 65 degrees, and right now Pikeville sitting at 61. We're still seeing temperatures in the 60s across the majority of the viewing area, 50s from Grundy down to Middlesboro. So let's go ahead and time everything out with Future View. We'll start the clock, and you're noticing again the rain chances continuing to ramp up as we go throughout the overnight hours. There's that heavy rain by Thursday morning, and then by the late morning, early afternoon hours, the heaviest part is out. We will keep a rain chance in the forecast throughout the afternoon and early evening hours. Now, coming up in the first alert forecast, we're going to talk about the rain chances and maybe a rumble of thunder or two, and that's coming up in a few minutes. Steve.
All right, Eric, thanks. President-elect Donald Trump has promised a mass deportation of undocumented immigrants. Heather Haiti is an immigration attorney in Lexington. Immigration can be a sensitive subject because her husband is currently listed as an undocumented immigrant, but she says he's in the process of becoming legal. She says talk of future mass deportations has the immigrant community on edge.
This is really a shock to the community, and there is a lot of fear. So anytime someone knocks at our door, our hearts start racing a little bit.
Haiti says that fear has carried over to people who are in the country legally, adding those who are legal permanent residents are also scared of being deported, even though they have legal status. So far this year, 83 pedestrians have been hit and killed by cars in the Commonwealth. That's according to the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. With each death comes renewed calls to improve pedestrian safety. Samantha Valentino explains what goes into making those changes.
Safety of the public is the #1 priority of the Transportation Cabinet and Team Kentucky.
Natasha Lacey is the PIO for the Department of Highways District 7 for the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet.
That includes motorists, pedestrians, cyclists, and those that might be using scooters or non-motorized vehicles.
Lacey says cabinet engineers routinely study potential improvements for all highway users based on need and funding.
Currently, we have audits for different intersections that we're conducting and reviewing those to see what type of changes we could make.
The cabinet says their engineers are going to busy areas like Winchester and Nicholasville roads to see if intersections would benefit from additions such as crosswalks or added lighting. But what happens when community members request these changes?
Lacey says requests for things like sidewalks and lighting should go through your city or county local government, even if the road in question is a state road.
And we always welcome local government to send requests to us because we're willing to review those at any time, and we do that on a regular basis to see what the needs for the public are.
Lacey says outside of construction projects, the state does not construct sidewalks, and street lighting is done by the city through the state's permit process. In Lexington, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.
Lacey says communities also have the option to apply for grants and other funding through KYTC's Department for Rural and Municipal Aid. These grants could include lighting, sidewalks, and other local infrastructure projects. 9 counties received grant funding for infrastructure improvements at county fairgrounds. There was one county in our area that benefited. That was Estill County. That county was awarded nearly $82,000. The plan is to use the money for things such as a new building, as well as electric and water, parking lot excavation, and drainage work. A beloved former Hazard educator has died. Ann Quillen died yesterday at the Greg and Noreen Wells Hospice Care Center. She taught in the Hazard Independent School System for more than 30 years. She was also well known for her humor and roles in various community programs. Her visitation will be Saturday from 11 a.m. until the funeral at noon at Hazard First Baptist Church, where she was a lifetime member. Ann Quillen was 91.
All right, big story in the world of weather. Rain chances, they are in the forecast on Thursday. Details coming up in a few minutes. Stay with us.